sentence. This is 4th and 20 on their own 10, and they don't have Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so Republican Congressman from Texas, Chip Roy, is participating in Hunter's deposition today, has been asking questions in there as a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman Roy, always good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us again today.
Great to be on, Martha.
So what's your response, first of all, to your Democratic colleagues who just say, look, this whole thing has completely fallen apart. It's an embarrassment for Republicans who are pressing this investigation. They're not going to find anything.
Well, this is more of the same from my Democratic colleagues. They're all radical progressives, and they're all trying to hide their radical agenda, and they're trying to dismiss what we're seeing right in front of us. There's something in the law, as you probably know, res ipsa loquitur, right? The thing speaks for itself. They want to dismiss all of these things by talking about the witnesses and how they want to try to disparage them, but they don't want to talk about the facts, right? They don't want to talk about that nothing we learned today changed questions about the exact dollar amount of a expensive sports car going into Hunter Biden's account. The reality that when it says the big guy, who are they talking about? There's no good answers to questions like who is the big guy? There's no good answers to why Joe Biden was present when he was having these business dealings with folks. And there was no response when he was pressed on what on the world was he actually delivering and making all of this money in the tunes of millions of dollars flowing into the Biden family from overseas interests, right? From foreign adversaries. So my colleagues, by the way, are breaking House rules, not just some rules we set up for this deposition. United States House of Representatives rules by getting into the specifics and talking about specific questions during the deposition. I'm going to try to adhere to the House rules and not get into the specifics, but I will speak in broad terms. And we didn't learn anything today that does not underscore the serious concerns that we can all see at the evidence sitting right in front of us. Right? You can try to dismiss a witness, but you can't dismiss when you have actual text talking about 10% for the big guy, talking about the real concerns that we see in the form of where those dollars are flowing.
Can you answer, given what you just said, maybe not, but did he say who the big guy is?
Well, what's interesting, and again, I'm trying to be careful here while my colleagues are violating the rules, I'm going to try to adhere to them. But in broad terms, what you realize is there's actual text there that says 10% to the big guy. And when it says, like, well, I don't know, that could be something in the zip code of somebody's speculation, right? Oh, somebody wanted it to be 10% for the big guy. Oh, and then the next defense was, but wait a minute, he's now no longer a public servant after 48 years. He's private sector Joe Biden. Well, wait, which is it, right? Without getting into the details much further than that, which is it? You either know who it is or you don't. We know who it is. Everybody knows who it was. And everybody gets that, of course, he was selling the brand. And you can't hide behind the fact that you were had addictions, which, God bless him, we hope that he's clean and sober. But you can't hide behind that and then obfuscate what dealings you were doing at the time when you might have been under the influence. And these are all issues that are going to continue to be flushed out.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, begrudges his personal situation or his addiction. That what the relevancy is doing these deals with China and Ukraine while you're under that situation personally, and how they might be able to use that against you. Obviously, you'd have to dig and come up with the goods on whether or not there was any quid pro quo or they held anything over his head because of that situation. We don't know, whether any of that is going to come out. At one point, apparently, he suggested that Jared Kushner should be investigated because of the deal business deal that he did with the Saudis. What did you think about that?
Well, I mean, he certainly is well within his rights to raise whatever he wants to raise, and that may have come up. Again, I'm trying to be careful here. But the reality is what you heard in response from some of my Republican colleagues in broad terms is like, look, follow the truth wherever it may lead, right? We're concerned about any business dealings that might raise questions of foreign adversaries having some influence that's improper. So we should seek truth wherever it may lead. But the fact is that's an obfuscation. He's not dealing, and he didn't want to answer the questions directly that were related to him. Again, you can't hide behind the fact, you can't say on the one hand, hey, well, I didn't even know that I might be sending something about a text saying that, my father was next to me. I'm not sure about all that because, I'm under the influence. But then you try to say, right, you can't say that in the one hand and then not say, well, how did you know he wasn't sitting next to you? Like, if you can't remember sending the text and then you say that he wasn't sitting next to you, how do you know? Right? This is all the kind of thing that you're seeing out of this with constant obfuscation.
Yeah. So on the one hand, he's either a super astute businessman who had lots of, knowledge that he could sell overseas, or he was in such a fog that he can't remember whether or not his father was sitting next to him. So, I don't know if both of those things can be true. Chip Roy, Congressman, thank you very much for your insight into what's going on in there. Good to see you as always. Thank you, sir.
You
Chip
too.
Roy,
Take care, Martha.
Congressman from Texas. So coming up, a story exclusive with independent presidential candidate RFK Jr. and